Coffee with Claire is hosted by Claire Billingsley and produced at the Real News Communications Network in Dallas, Texas. New episodes of Coffee with Claire are produced every Friday at 9 a.m., so follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithclaire, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitter, and check out our website at www.coffeewithclaire.tv.
Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Claire. Today we have Dagmar Fleming, founder of Unlock Your Success. She's an international success coach and intuitive healer who helps you accelerate your growth, life purpose, and income potential. Through her research of helping people on every level, she has uncovered information about wireless radiation, the difference between 2G and 5G, and how it affects us on a biological level. So welcome, Dagmar.
Yes, thank you, Claire, and I'm delighted to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have everyone learn all about what you've got to talk about today. So we met at a screening of Generation Zapped, and that's a documentary that highlights dangers of wireless radiation and its negative effects on our health. So what prompted you to host a screening of this?
Well, thank you for bringing this up. I wanted to educate the public about the hazards of the wireless technology that is so ubiquitous these days, and really bring to everyone's attention how we can mitigate that risk and use the technology that's really important in our life, but use it safely and without compromising our health.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of these devices out now.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're everywhere.
Exactly. If you look in an average household, we have an iPhone, iPad, tablets, microwave, I mean, you name it, Alexa, right?
Right.
So if I actually ask you how much more does the penetration of the wireless radiation affect us in our body today, is it twice as much, 3 times as much? What would you say it is compared to 10 years ago?
Oh gosh, 10 years ago, I don't know. I would say at least 5.
Well, it's quintillion times.
Quintillion.
That's
I
one
was really close.
with 18 zeros, okay? So we're looking at unprecedented exposure to these frequencies that are proven to be extremely dangerous to human body.
So what are some of the effects that we're starting to see?
So the 2 primary problems are the dehydration and compromised immune system. Because from the biological point of view, the cells try to protect themselves from the danger of this radiation when exposed to wireless frequency, and they do that by closing up. That leads to buildup of toxicity, DNA mutations, so DNA damage, and unfortunately over time is linked to cancer.
Wow.
Yeah. So the studies have now shown direct correlation between us using these devices and increase of brain tumor, also thyroid, because when you put a phone here, it actually goes into the entire neck area. Little girls, teenagers are using phones by putting them on in their bra. So there's an increase of breast cancer. And for boys, which is really detrimental, we have insurgence of tumor of testes, because men usually put the cell phones in their pockets. So we're looking at huge issues with reproduction down the road, but also when the cell shuts down, our intercellular communication is affected. So we're looking at neurological functions being affected negatively, and in turn our immune system. That translates into neurological disorders like Alzheimer's or ADHD. So a really vast plethora of negative effects on our body.
So, you know, it does seem like we've heard a lot more about the kids, you know, with the ADHD and a lot more of, you know, being on the spectrum of autism and stuff like that. All of this is related to this new technology that's out here?
Yes, it's very unfortunate that schools right now, believe it or not, are one of the most dangerous places on earth. We are looking at multiple routers, multiple transmitters, and then each kid has a cell phone these days.
Right.
I mean, you're looking at five-year-olds running around with this dangerous technology. And what makes it more dangerous, if you look at children, their bodies are in a stage of development.
Right.
The bones are thinner. So it's actually proven that when the child takes a phone next to their head, it penetrates much farther into the head.
Ooh.
So tremendous hazards to
sounds
that
horrible.
developing child. And of course, the mutated sperm. Because being present in or exposed to the wireless radiation now is directly linked to the damaged sperm and eggs for the ladies, which then continues to reproduce itself in that damaged state.
Wow. So now we've gone from 2G, and now we're to this 5G point. How is 5G going to affect us? I mean, it's got to be even worse as we go along. I mean, I'm scared now.
Well, there's no
because
need-
I want to embrace technology because that's where we get all of our information. But at the same time, I don't want to be killing myself prematurely. So
Exactly. Well, the key is education and preventive measures.
Okay.
So let me first explain what the difference is between 2G and 5G, because for a lot of people it's very confusing. So 2G refers to the second generation wireless technology.
Okay.
And what that meant is that your Wi-Fi in your home was working at a frequency of 2.4 gigahertz.
Okay.
Now, for most people, will be like, well, what does that mean? Well, that means 2 billion of waves hitting your body per second.
per second.
Okay. Now, somebody might say, maybe that's normal. Well, no, it's not. Because we as human beings have our own electrical current, your heart, your brain, and those run at only 8 hertz. All right? 8. So that's 8 waves per second as compared to 2 billion from your Wi-Fi. So we're talking about an onslaught of microwave frequencies that are hammering your body continuously 24/7. And 5G, unfortunately, what makes it so dangerous is that it increases that band to 30 and even up to 90 gigahertz.
Wow.
That's 90 billion of waves hitting your body, pounding on the cells, and creating what it's called a cell membrane hardening mechanism. Essentially, we recognize wireless radiation just the same way as the body would recognize a chemical toxin. We shut down and we say, don't come in. So severe dehydration, also severe neurological problems. There's already an onslaught of people who are electromagnetically sensitive and complain about nausea, headache, mental fog, lack of clarity, lack of energy. These are all symptoms directly related to the usage of our wireless devices.
And a lot of people can relate to that. You hear that all the time. I am so tired, or I just
Exactly.
can't think today, or, you know, I've got the words in my head, but they won't come out of my mouth.
Yeah. Well, you can always blame cell phone for that.
It's not me, it's my phone.
Exactly.
If you just move your phone out of the way. No,
Yeah.
but it's not that easy, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, you just can't move your cell phone somewhere else and make that radiation go away.
Well, Wi-Fi exists all around us.
Right.
Just in your home, if you think about it, it's not just your Wi-Fi, but all your neighbors. Your cable box, people think that it only transmits because you put one channel. But the truth is all channels are being transmitted at all time. So as you're sitting watching your TV, believe me, you're running on 200 or to 400 channels that are sent into your body, which
Wow.
receives this frequency.
So, and is that on all the time, even though your TV's not on? Is that radiation
Well,
coming through? Or?
the Wi-Fi has to be switched off. So when it comes to protecting yourself, with cell phones, if you're not using it, put it in an airplane mode,
Okay.
right?
All right.
The same thing with your laptop. Why not using a cable and plug it directly into your laptop instead of just utilizing Wi-Fi at all time?
Got it. Okay.
So you can reduce exposure with these simple measures, plus reduce your screen time. Let's face it, we're addicted to these devices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you even see that in the communication skills of kids and stuff. You know, they're just not as easily engaged in conversation like
Yeah.
we grew up, you know? And
Exactly.
so how did you come across all this? I mean, this is really not exactly what you do for your business, but it has really changed your life by understanding this information. So how did you come across it?
Well, it was a very personal journey because being an intuitive empath, I am extremely sensitive to man-made frequencies. And I was diagnosed a few years back with adrenal fatigue stage 4, which unfortunately is the ultimate limit of that condition, which means I absolutely had no energy at all and was severely dehydrated. Now, as a success coach, I teach my clients how to reach peak performance, and that requires a mental clarity, that requires having energy to produce the results that they are going after. And yet I was struggling with getting out of bed. So I searched for holistic solutions to this adrenal fatigue, but also to understand where did this come from, because I'm an extremely healthy person. And I came across information while watching Truth About Cancer, where it was highlighted how electromagnetic radiation can cause all this collapse within your body. So once I started researching the issue, it turned out that my adrenal fatigue coincided with installation of 5G router in my home.
Oh, wow.
So my body was simply collapsing from the increased frequencies that were placed in my house.
And isn't it interesting, because as a consumer, I feel like, well, gosh, I can buy these things, and so they must be safe. So
yeah, unfortunately, the FCC Commission introduced all this technology without proper research into safety of those devices. And with 5G, it's even more horrendous, if I can use that word, because the 5G technology has been declared a national priority. So all those medical studies have been really shoved under the rug. And right now we are being exposed to this rollout, which means the wave is much shorter in its band, which means not only the cell towers that are built really dangerously close to residential areas, now you're going to have all these transmitters right in front of your home, literally microwaving you 24/7.
well, I'm starting to see them on water towers and you know, on the sides of buildings and things like that. So that's what those things are, is the transmitters?
Yeah, but
okay,
there's going to be more and more because it's a short range. So now you used to see one cell tower for many blocks.
Right.
Now almost every block has to have its own transmitter.
Every block?
Yes,
Wow.
because it's a very short range.
So they're going to be on mailboxes
Yes, and some of it
lampposts.
hidden with black boxes. So it may look to you like a mailbox, but it's transmitting.
Well,
Not to be a doomsday person, but I think
yeah, I'm feeling really happy right now.
yes, I think the key again is awareness.
Yeah.
And the fact that yes, we can protect ourselves from it, because you know the truth is I came upon this journey trying to find solution, and I tried the conventional ways, like we just advertised, not use your cell phone as an alarm clock, or if you do, first switch it off to the airplane mode, right? But again, the Wi-Fi surrounds us 24/7. You cannot run away from it.
Can't get away, yeah.
Yeah. So I came across Gia Wellness technology, and I was just flabbergasted how unique and modern it is.
Okay.
Yeah, because what happens is it turns out that this man-made wave, when it hits your body, creates this extremely detrimental effect to your cellular functions, right? But Dr. Smirnov, who's a nuclear physicist, invented a way to superimpose the bio-friendly wave over this microwave
Okay.
in such a way that it will mitigate the risk of the microwave frequency.
Oh, wow.
By the time it hits your body, your specific absorption rate has diminished 98%.
Wow.
Yes. So it's those little devices that I started placing. We call them cell guards or universal guards. I place them on my router, on my laptop, on my microwave, and my life started recovering.
So you put it on the source.
Yes,
Okay.
because it's made out of special polymer that emits low noise frequency.
Okay.
And that creates this positive effect. Essentially, it piggies-back on this dangerous wave.
And so does it repel it?
No, it just simply masks it.
Okay. Okay. So, you have been able to, through your research, come across this company, and they've been around for how long?
Oh, it goes back to 1986.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because Dr. Smirnov was sent after Chernobyl disaster, the
Oh.
nuclear disaster, if you recall that,
Yes.
in Ukraine. He was sent there with the team to understand how come there is a SAP population, just several thousand people, that didn't respond negatively to the nuclear fallout. In other words, they were living well, while the rest of the country was struggling with cancer and other implications of that nuclear disaster. And what he discovered is that this particular subpopulation was drinking water from a source that was coming off Caucasian mountains. And that launched him on a 10-year research to find out what is it that can protect the body from the wireless radiation. And it's important to understand that when you're born, our water structure is in a so-called single file alignment.
Okay.
So it's like a string of pearls.
Okay.
And the way we absorb the water is we have to take this water that we drink from bottles and pipes that is chaotically structured.
Okay.
Because we process it.
Sure.
So our body works overtime to take these clusters like a Rubik cube and squeeze it through our plumbing system of the cell called aquaporin, which only accept one molecule at a time.
Oh.
So imagine these 60 molecules trying to squeeze in through the opening of the size of a pin of a needle, right? So the body has to pull the molecules apart, and once it absorbs it, our all intracellular function increases. Immune system works at its optimal. So the population that was drinking this water from Caucasian mountains was getting water that was already restructured by nature for them. And
okay.
that created self-repair and self-regeneration abilities.
So you've brought a process today that actually does that to the water that we get from our pipes and water,
Exactly.
bottles and things like that.
So the brilliance of Dr. Smirnov is that he brought this technology to our kitchen with a simple pitcher and a special activator that literally when you press this button for half an hour, it will pull the molecules apart and create that single file alignment. So the water that we are drinking right now has been already processed for us, and the body not only gets fully rehydrated, but it induces detoxification from all these toxins that we've built up from being exposed to the onslaught of wireless radiation.
And how long does that process last? Does it? I mean, can it stay in your refrigerator and still stay in that single file molecular?
Oh yeah. It can stay up to 18 days if you put it in a fridge.
Okay.
But let's face it, once you start drinking this water, you
tastes
crave
different.
it.
I mean, it's like smoother or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just
I like it.
for me the most amazing effect was when I got my pitcher. I drank it and I felt literally like my whole body was buzzing because my adrenals started working.
Oh wow!
And there was a purge of toxins that were built up. I even purged toxins from the time when I lived back in Poland during the communist times. So
Wow.
heavy metals started coming out.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, it was just amazing. But for me, what was very important is I gained my life back. I had the energy.
Yeah.
My brain, You know, did you know that your brain is made 90% of water?
I do now.
Yeah. So when you put water, when you rehydrate the brain, guess what happens to it?
I guess you probably actually can think again.
Yeah, you sound pretty
You've got
smart
some
and
clarity.
intelligent.
Oh, I need this. I need all this all the time.
Yes. And you know what? And you actually drink less coffee, so eventually it might be just water with Claire.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
We'll have to think of another alliteration there. So, what other advice do you have for users of the wireless devices as we kind of wind down today?
I think it's important that we, in general, take action towards, first of all, protecting our children. It really scares me when I see huge cell towers put right in the school's backyard where our children are playing in the football fields or exercising. And a lot of schools do that because they want to gain additional funding. But that has such a negative effect on these children. And also, we can take action. We can talk to our public officials on both state and federal levels and demand that the proper medical study is conducted on the effects of this technology, and so that we are feeling like we're being protected. So I invite everybody to visit bioinitiative.org website, and that's bioinitiative.org, because it is a compilation of medical studies on proven medical research and the effect of this technology on our health.
Wow. Well, Dagmar, this has been so informative. I appreciate you being here so much on Coffee with Claire. Thank you for our listeners, our loyal fans that are out there, and thank you for our new listeners out there as well. To find out more about Gia and what Dagmar was talking about, you can go to our website, coffeewithclaire.tv, and go to the contact page. Just send us an email, and we'll be glad to give you the information. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Claire.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Coffee with Claire. To learn more about today's guests, visit their website or find them on Facebook. To learn more about me, Claire Billingsley, follow me on LinkedIn or visit my website at coffeewithclaire.tv. And to hear more episodes of Coffee with Claire, subscribe, rate, and review the show on your favorite podcast and social media platforms.